and to rejoice and log in, and to rejoice and log in. Today will be a joyful day, and to rejoice and log in.
The chalice is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. If you have a chalice or a candle at home, it's time now to light it together as we say the same words we say each week at our fellowship. We light this flame as a symbol of new life enlightening our way, as a symbol of the warmth in every human heart. Let the lighting of this flame rekindle in us the inner light of hope, of peace, of love. May we share that light with all people.
Good morning. My name is Marie Luna, and I am the Director of Congregational Life. Thank you for welcoming us into your home today. It is good to be together, even when we have to be physically apart. If you are joining us from another Unitarian Universalist congregation, we warmly welcome you. If you are joining us for the first time today, I want to extend you a special welcome. I encourage you to reach out to me to get more information about the fellowship and to get more connected. I will put my email in the chat box so you can connect. Today's service is being led and supported by Reverend Christina Leone-Tracy, our senior minister, Allie Peters, our intern minister, Dave Valguth, our worship leader, Leela and Brian Pirtle, our special deep listening guests, Kim Hartman, our Director of Religious Education, Steve Seek, our Music Director, our wonderful musicians and singers, and Adam Robinson, our AV Tech. Thank you to everyone who has made this morning's service possible. This year, we are focusing on growing resilience. We are digging in to what it means to grow ourselves and our community to be sources of life, even when things get tough. Today is the final Sunday in our theme of a community of embrace. Thank you for joining us as we practice what it means to embrace each other and our wider world, to hold each other, even from a distance. We are so glad you're here. I invite you to settle into your space, wherever you are, to set aside your week in whatever way you are able, so that we can be together fully, even from afar.
May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be one. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be one. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be one.
Good morning. Each of us, no matter our age or stage in life, we're always on a journey. And it's our 7 Unitarian Universalist principles that call us to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And so we take time each week when we gather to hear stories and explore ideas in new ways. Right now, it's time to find out what's inside of our Wonder Box. There's something in here right now, and if you'd like to guess what you think it is, go ahead and type your answer into the chat box. Wondering is a skill that we practice all of the time as Unitarian Universalists because it keeps us learning and it allows us to change our minds when we need to. I consider myself to be a lifelong learner, so this is my very favorite part of being a Unitarian Universalist. Are you ready to see what's inside of our Wonder Box? Oh, it's a rabbit. One of the things that makes a rabbit is its large ears. Rabbits have such long ears because they need to hear in order to stay safe. So rabbits are really great listeners. Today we have a story about the importance of showing that we love and care for one another through listening. The Rabbit Listened, written and illustrated by Corey Dorfeld. One day, Taylor decided to build something. Something new. Something special. Something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice. Cluck, cluck! What a shame! I'm so sorry this happened. Let's talk about it. Cluck, cluck. Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left. Next came the bear. Rawr, rawr. How horrible! I bet you feel so angry. Let's shout about it. Rawr, rawr, rawr. But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. The elephant. The elephant knew just what to do. Trumpeter! I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering. So the elephant also left. One by one, they came. The hyena. Let's laugh about it. The ostrich. Let's hide and pretend that nothing happened. The kangaroo. What a mess. Let's just throw it all away. And the snake. Shh. Let's go knock down someone else's. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody. So eventually they all left. Until Taylor was alone. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit. But it moved closer and closer. Until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together, they sat in silence until Taylor said, "Please stay with me." And the rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. And the rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, to ruin things for someone else. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again. I can't wait, Taylor said. It's going to be amazing. So as we hear the rest of this morning's service and we go about our lives this week, let's remember that sometimes to really help someone, you don't need to do anything, but be there for them and listen.
Our first reading this morning is entitled A Prayer for the Listeners by Reverend Joe M. Cherry. When my ears are full of the worries, the concerns, the pains of others, grant me permission for silence. When my arms and shoulders and back ache from the burdens of others, grant me permission to set them down. Guide me to another, a friend perhaps to talk with, not for once to be talked at. And may I not be a burden to them as I pour out my pain, my weariness, my exhaustion, but a space of mutual care. My listener friend, may you always know, no matter how tired I am, you can turn to me too.
Our second reading is a poem by Dan Albergotti entitled Things to Do in the Belly of the Whale. Pearl Taylor, an Australian artist, created this stop-motion animation video.
Good morning. I am fortunate to work for a company that makes products that keeps restrooms sanitary. We make things like paper towel dispensers, toilet tissue dispensers, soap dispensers, and just about everything else you see in a public restroom. One product we carry is a floor stand that holds a soap dispenser. We normally sell 40 to 50 of these a year, and it was on our list to be discontinued. Then one Friday morning early this past March, my phone was ringing when I arrived to work, and it was one of our customers looking for some stands. He asked me, "How many do you have?" And I told him, "We have 94 in stock right now." And he said, "I'll take them all." I listened to him tell me to get as many of these as we could because there's going to be a huge need for them to fight this virus. Schools, churches, businesses will all need to have a way to dispense hand sanitizer to stay open or be able to reopen. The phone did not stop ringing. We had regular customers, ones we haven't heard from in a long time, new customers, all looking for stands and dispensers that you don't have to touch. I was listening close to these customers, and my sales team relayed what I was hearing to my superiors. I told them we need to quadruple our production if we want to keep up with demand that's going to come from all this. I told them we need to find new suppliers for our soap dispensers because the overseas vendors we use are slow and will not be able to keep up with the demand that's going to come. They listened to me, but at first did not think what I was saying would actually happen. I kept listening to our customers, and they kept saying, "You got to make more, you got to bring more in, you're going to sell them." We were in a unique position where we never were before to capitalize on a situation we could not have predicted. I kept at my supervisors to purchase more goods and ramp up production, but they remained skeptical. I didn't blame them because we had not seen anything like this before. Then we got some large orders we had never ever seen before, and then they kept coming. Checking to see if we can increase lines of credit became a daily routine. It became clear we were going to need to extend our normal lead time of 2 weeks to 4, then to 6, and now we're currently at 8. If my leadership would have listened to me and took me more seriously from the beginning, we would be in better shape today. Eventually, they realized that they needed to expand production and assembly to get products made quicker because customers do not like to wait. I've listened and read what our country's leaders recommend you do to protect yourself and stave off the virus. I wash my hands more frequently. I use more hand sanitizer several times a day. I wear a mask, and I do my best not to touch my face. When listening, it is important to be selective and realize things being said are not always true. This pandemic is not just going to disappear. Listen close, but use your common sense. When you do this, you really can make change.
Listening is hard. Often our own internal monologue is going, forming ideas and thoughts as we attempt to pay attention, like Dave spoke about in his reflection. His supervisors struggling to hear the challenges and needs coming their way even as he spoke them. That stop motion animated video based on the poem Things to Do in the Belly of the Whale came across my phone screen on Wednesday as election results continued to sit in limbo. My own anxiety was and continues to be high. I'm not proud of it, but my instinct is to run away, like the biblical character of Jonah, to run from God who says, "Go and speak the truth of goodness and justice to a troubled nation," And I think, like Jonah, me? Are you kidding? No thanks. I'll just get on a boat and run away. Now, if you remember that story, a storm rises up, and Jonah's boatmates know that he is the reason the storm has come, so they toss him overboard. To save him, God sends a whale to swallow Jonah whole. Now, between the time of being swallowed and the time of being spit back out on the beach, where he learned not to run away from truth and justice, I wonder what Jonah did. If Dan Albergatti's poem has any truth, here are a few ideas for Jonah and for us as we wait, or as we move forward into whatever comes next in our country and in our world. He writes, "Call old friends and listen for echoes of distant voices. Try to be very quiet and listen for the sound of gears and moving water. Listen for the sound of your heart." Listen. Listen deeply to your friends, to the world, to your own heart. And I would add, listen to those who are closest to the hurt and the worry. Hear their voices. People of color, Indigenous folks, queer and transgender people, immigrants, those with disabilities. Hear their voices. Honor and amplify them over and over. Take time, my friends, in the coming hours, days, weeks, and years to listen. Listen. In a moment, we will practice listening with Layla and Brian Pirtle, who both work at Lawrence University and are deep listening practitioners. We are so grateful to Layla and to Brian for offering us this gift of practice. So join me in settling in for listening.
Hi, I'm Leela Pirtle, and I teach music education at Lawrence University, and I'm also one of the teachers at the Center for Deep Listening.
And I'm Brian Pirtle. I'm the Dean of the Conservatory of Music at Lawrence. And Leela and I are passionate about deep listening, and we're really happy to talk to you today just for a little bit about deep listening as spiritual practice. Deep listening was started by American composer and performer Pauline Oliveros. And Pauline was a virtuoso at playing, but her goal was to always become a virtuoso at listening. Pauline set a daily practice for herself of trying to listen to all things in every way possible at all times. And we love this as a philosophy, and it's also a way to help center oneself in this crazy, busy, anxiety-ridden world, and a way to honor everything around you through sound. So Leela and I are out here on our back porch. It's nighttime, and if we open our ears, I can hear the cars going by on the street, and I can hear the fire here next to us, and I can hear the hum of a factory probably half of a mile away.
And there's a gentle wind sort of blowing the leaves on our porch, the leaves which have turned crunchy, so there's a little bit of a percussive aspect.
And all of this is blending together into this beautiful symphony of sound. So one thing we'd like to offer for you to try, and it's beautiful because you can try it at any time, anywhere, is what we call a sound walk or a listening walk. And on a listening walk, when you go outside or even through your house, put down all your gadgets, put down your headphones, and try to open your ears to hear everything you possibly can around you and listen like a microphone, which means you don't discriminate between the cars on the street and the chickadee in the tree. You're taking it all in and hearing how it interacts and blends together. And I think you'll be surprised, especially if you've been all day in front of your Zoom screen, all day sitting, all day being very anxious about the news around us today, that this is a way to really connect with everything around you in a spirit of gratitude for all of the sounds and all of the life that you're hearing in this incredible world.
Deep listening practice also has an element of movement and of imagination. And with listening, movement, and imagination or dreaming, we can, as a community, do collaborative, creative projects. We can dance together, we can make sound together, we can combine the two, and we can imagine better futures for one another. So I'm going to take you through a couple of exercises now, starting in movement, and then we will go from a space of having our bodies move and vibrate a little into one of imagination and recalling a place for you that is one of deep comfort or joy. It could be a favorite space. So while we're moving, I want you to maybe try to recall a favorite space. Mine is my grandmother's kitchen, and it is full of beautiful sounds. So here we go. You can do this sitting, you can do this standing. If you feel like lying down, that's fine too. But I'd like you to find a comfortable space and take a few moments to allow yourself to breathe deeply. So I like to breathe through my nose and out through my mouth like this. And you want to breathe in and then out just a little bit longer than you breathed in. And that is a sound that will allow you to release tension and anxiety. So here we go. We're going to breathe in together. And you keep breathing, and I'm going to talk as you breathe in. You're going to breathe in something you need, and I want you to breathe out something you don't need. Just get it out. And let's breathe in again. And this time as you breathe in, you're allowing yourself to expand out into the world around you. So your skin now is becoming just a permeable layer between you and the universe. And one more breath in. And out on ha. All right. I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. Make sure you're safe in a safe spot. And I want you to listen into your body now. Remember, we've got this outside world, but we also have an internal sonic world that we can feel or hear. And take a few moments to notice those areas in your body which maybe need a little extra attention. For me, it's my back right here. And I'd like you to just move those areas around a little bit. Feel free to use other parts of your body to give yourself a little bit of love, a little bit of attention. Let your breath also help you find those areas. And we're going to just wiggle and shake a little. Feel free to tap those spots that need that attention. I like tapping this way, and then your other arm. These are also movements that you can use to wake up your skin, get the blood flowing, but also to get out any anxiety. And then go ahead and just let out a any shaking, waking, tapping, snaking, wiggling, jiggling. These are all anxiety-ridding movements, and you can listen into your body to where you need that most. Okay, now that we have a body that's ready to feel safe and to listen, I want you to recall your favorite spot. Again, mine is my grandmother's kitchen. We're going to go into our breath again. And I really want you to go to this favorite spot of yours, this place of great comfort. So take a few seconds and really go there. And when you're there, I want you to listen and notice all the sounds around you. Feel all the vibrations around you. And when you think you've heard everything, listen even more deeply. You might notice there are actual sounds around you. Let them blend into your imagined soundscape. Allow my voice to become part of your spot. And now in your space, turn very slowly 180 degrees, just in your mind. And as you turn slowly, you're going to hear your soundscape change just a little bit. Take note of that. Now listen. What do you hear? And what do you feel? In your favorite space, if you think you've heard everything, listen more deeply. And I'm going to take a few breaths here and allow these breaths to bring you back to our real space together. What's real? So in my favorite space, I heard my grandmother ironing. I heard my grandpa reading his newspaper. What did you hear?
I was at a house on a lake, and I heard the wind in the trees and crows and the water lapping and a screen door slapping.
I would love to hear about the things you heard. Now, if this is the first time you've done this exercise, you may have noticed you were hearing things around you. You know, it could have been the dog barking, it could have been the trucks going by on our back porch. If you do this at any time on your own, allow all those sounds to sort of recreate themselves in your soundscape. And you can do this for a much longer time. We just had a little bit of time today, but thank you so much for deep listening with us. I hope that brought you a little bit of memory and joy.
Yes. Yeah, and go out there and listen. It's an amazing world that's full of sonic surprises And we're always here if you want to reach out and talk to us. So thank you for allowing us a little bit of your time this morning, and hopefully we'll hear you around.
And keep listening. Thanks.
We are the ones, we've been waiting. 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 We are the ones, we've been waiting.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. 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 We are the ones we've been waiting for.
We are the ones, we've been waiting.
Sharing our individual joys and concerns helps us to collectively grow resilience. It is a binding practice, one that connects us in mutual embrace. At this time, we invite you to type into the chat box any personal news you might wish to share with our community so that we can hold space with you here together as we worship. If you would like to connect further with our ministers or with a care team member, please let us know directly. And you can still submit joys and concerns on our website or by emailing Reverend Leah or any member of the staff to be included in our weekly email. And now, let us breathe into this shared silence together, and then join in our sung response.
And we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give, we have our thoughts to receive, and we believe that sharing is an answer.
Each week we take time for generosity, remembering that the acts of giving and receiving are spiritual practices. As always, if you are in need of financial or emotional support, please reach out to any of our ministers, Reverend Christina, Reverend Leah, or Allie, so they can offer help, including modest financial support through the minister's discretionary fund. For those of you who are feeling relatively more financially secure, we want to thank you for your continuing to give and ask you to keep doing so. There are several ways you can give to the fellowship and many reasons to do so. Here are just a few.
Hi, I'm Justin Fisher, and I've been going to the fellowship for about 4 years. And I have kept going even during the pandemic because I really find the services to be uplifting and inspirational in this time of challenge. And I support the fellowship because, I mean, one of many reasons is I really feel like I belong in this community, and that's kind of the first time I've really felt that way. So it's really something that I enjoy and love.
As we come to the end of our service, we will extinguish our chalice flame, even as we still hold its light in our hearts.
As we extinguish this flame, let us go our ways, with hope in our hearts, with our spirits renewed, and with a deeper understanding of life's mystery. Let us carry the light of compassion and commitment to build a better world.
After our closing words, we will be having small breakout groups, just like usual, for 15 minutes of connection and conversation. In a moment, we will hear a short postlude. If you do not want to participate in small group conversations, then please use that time to log off and leave this Zoom meeting. But if you choose to stay, I encourage you to learn each other's names and to pay attention to the timer in the corner of your screen so that everyone gets a chance to share. And with that, go in resilience, growing in strength. Go in connection to yourself, your community, and your world. Go in peace, knowing that we embrace each other, even now, from a distance.